Stephanie White reveals Fever star most affected after Caitlin Clark injury. After losing Caitlin Clark, no one expected the Indiana Fever to make it to the WNBA semifinals. The most generous analysts had Stephanie White's squad winning a game, if that, and honestly, it makes sense. Because it wasn't just CC, Indiana has been dealing with a plethora of injuries this season. They lost Sophie Cunningham, Aari McDonald, Bibby, and Sydney Colson following the trade deadlines, and it has been quite a challenge in terms of backcourt stability. And there has been one player who has been the most affected by all of this: Aliyah Boston. The All-Star center comprised a lethal 1-2 punch with Clark before her injury, and after she was gone, she took the responsibility on her shoulders. The issue that Boston was facing, however, was a lack of continuity. Indiana had to experiment with many different options at the point guard spot. Odyssey Sims, Aerial Powers, and Bree Hall are just the ones that have stuck. So, considering the synergy required between the front court and backcourt, we can only imagine how tough Aliyah Boston has had it. Even Stephanie White, on in case you missed it with Christina Williams, admired the 6'5" center for her patience and reliability. Aliyah Boston has been a rock for us. She's just steady. She's probably been the one player who is most affected by all the changes that we've had. The Fever HC said, before explaining, most of our change has been primary ball handlers. And so the way that she gets the ball, the way that she gets touches, the spacing on the floor that is created with those players who are now on the sideline. Because when we talk about synergy, it's not just about communication or lickability. Forwards and centers are highly dependent on the plays run by the primary ball handlers. As White pointed out, they set screens, create opportunities in the post, and hunt for open looks. But all of that is contingent on the point guard deciding to pass them the ball. Luckily, Boston's adaptability provided Indiana with a lot of flexibility. And it's not just in how she interacts with her teammates. Aliyah Boston made it a point to cover all of the team's weak spots, or as White put it, she continues to do anything and everything that we've asked her to do. Be a facilitator, be a scorer, be an elite defender, be a rebounder. And it looks different every single night. In the regular season, Boston averaged over 15 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists. Talk about a complete package. Most recently, Boston has emerged as a defensive menace. During Game 1 of the WNBA semifinals against Las Vegas, she held A'ja Wilson down to less than 30% from the field. Imagine just how rare that is. The reigning MVP couldn't get to any of her spots, and her 16 points felt quite forced. But her comeback in Game 2 showed that Aliyah Boston can't rest on her laurels. Let's take a look at this interesting matchup in greater detail. Is Aliyah Boston's physicality the key to finals run for Indiana? Let's face it, the only thing the Fever in the finals is A'ja Wilson. The reigning MVP isn't willing to go down without a fight, come what may. However, it seems like Aliyah Boston has the answer to whatever question Wilson is asking. The 6'5" center has been battling with A'ja in the post the entire game, denying her the ball and making sure she doesn't get to her spots. Of course, Wilson is talented enough to adapt. The Aces center started shooting mid-range jumpers in Game 2, her least efficient shot if we go by the numbers. Despite A'ja Wilson popping up with 25 points and 9 rebounds, it was still a good sign for the Fever. If they don't have Caitlin Clark on their side, then stopping Wilson becomes all the more important. So Boston's efforts have to be commended. But what's her secret? Guarding the best player in the league can't be easy after all. Honestly, just trying to kind of be annoying a little bit, because A'ja is a pretty great player. So for me, just trying to make sure my presence is felt. Boston had said after Game 1, revealing that her defensive prowess was the result of pure intent. She kept initiating contact with Wilson, and it was clear that the MVP was looking hurried. It's always very physical, and it's playoffs, so they let you get away with a lot of different things. But here's the cold, hard truth. If Aliyah Boston can repeat what she did in the first game, Las Vegas doesn't stand a chance. Because if one thing's been established, it is that they don't have an offense outside of Wilson. Sure, Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, and Jewel Lloyd are skilled players. However, they're not used to taking over like Wilson is. So, if Boston can keep up the pressure, there's a very high chance that Indiana, even without Caitlin Clark, makes the finals after many, many years.